On the last day, Us Weekly published several articles on the cover dealing with how Prince William was frozen with anxiety about his life and the monarchy. The first excerpt said something like poor William and his wife and father, who have cancer. No one will think about how he suffers, but many think that maybe people would be more understanding with William if Kensington Palace hadn't lied and distorted for months, throwing his apparently cancer-stricken wife under the bus and perpetuating a great lie in their public appearances. Anyway, Us Weekly also wants to point out that William is dealing with crushing pressure to be the face of the monarchy, all while heading to school with the children and dealing with his indebted in-laws, and then they made a list of the many things Prince William has on various fronts, one being the warring brothers, another a vulnerable Charles, who is his father. On the other hand, a missing princess. Also, the duties of a father, evidently the debt of the in-laws, Kate's parents, and of course, being the face of the monarchy in the supposed imminent abdication of Charles. And as we see, there are many fronts for William. The first one was about Harry, that fractured relationship between him and William. Prince Harry shows no signs of improvement reportedly, and some of Harry's friends are quite angry with Prince William. We see this in books by Harry, such as Scooby's Homie. They always lean quite heavily on Kate and William. And there is no more contact between Will and Harry. Many sources have said they tried to reconcile, but didn't open many lines of conversation, and there's still no communication. Regarding Charles' condition, of course, that February 5th, when Buckingham Palace revealed that Charles had officially been diagnosed with cancer, we know that William has the double blow of having to deal with this and with his wife. We have Princess Kate Middleton, who has been absent for a long time. In fact, some say she hasn't been seen since December. The monarchy needs Catherine, whom several royal experts say could attend the annual Trooping the Colour event in June, but this may change at any time. We will have Catherine's reappearance at that event in June in London. We'll see if it turns out to be true in the end and that announcement that was made, because remember, the government announced that Kate Middleton was going to attend that Trooping the Colour event, something that had to be retracted later. In fact, I remember royal correspondents also reported it. So that was a palace warning, I imagine. Notice that now, going over all these issues and seeing many of the lies regarding Kensington's communication during Kate's convalescence, you are now seeing another one, which is the Trooping the Colour issue, which I don't know if I mentioned at the time or if it just passed. I don't remember very well, but I do remember that the correspondents had announced it. Announced that Kate was going to appear at that annual event, which finally changed, which they removed a few days later. It's quite strange everything that happens with the Princess of Wales, or what happened until the announcement. Also, the other day we talked about that debt of Kate's parents, right? I mean Carol and Michael Middleton's parents, who have a debt of over $300,000 after selling the Infant Items Company in 2023. After those 36 years of devastating business for the family. Several royal commentators say she will do everything possible to protect Kate from all this, referring to what would be that great debt and the bankruptcy of the Middleton's parents' company. We also wonder why the royal house hasn't helped them. I also have to mention here that a royal expert on their Twitter account has posted something quite strong about those racism attacks the palace had at that time. And in fact, look here at these statements that include part of a secretary who had been at Kensington Palace. And then, well, they mention Prince Harry here. Basically, what they say in this statement, they put on their Twitter account. This royal expert says the person who was in charge of Kensington Palace when Meghan was there. So it has been discovered that Simon Case, that guy who had been advocating and allowing systematic and relentless racism in the Kensington Cabinet Office, and we were told there was no racism towards Meghan Markle at Kensington Palace when he was there directing everything for William. Everything Harry and Meghan said has been completely true, as well as everything Diana said in her interview. That interview for the BBC about her family, which has been confirmed time and time again over the years. So goodbye and goodbye. You can stick with William Parker Bowles's shorts and his mother Camilla. Here they point out what Prince Harry would be. Also, a bit against William, because in the end, if they were sub-secretaries, there are quite a few problems. In fact, as you all know, and if you watch the videos we put out here of William's secretaries with Prince Harry, those controversies about racism that they so much accuse the British Crown, the British royal house of our back. After that interview with Harry and Meghan, there was also a leaked video out there, if I remember correctly, of Charles, who didn't want to shake hands with a black person, and that also went very viral. Some time ago, many of you were asking me about a video I made some time ago about Kate Middleton's lawyer, and it was because in that video there were a series of speculations swirling around the Princess of Wales, because a TikTok of a person claiming that a lawyer of Kate Middleton had warned some people that she could be deceased went very, very viral in those days, something obviously not confirmed at all, and several people echoed this publication. They started on Twitter to affirm all this, and it all came from a TikTok. Apparently, if there is no news out there that may have come out and we haven't heard about it, but as far as I'm concerned, I hadn't seen it, but basically what was said at that time was that there was a warning from Catherine Middleton's lawyer, and that he was obliged to report about it if nothing was known about her soon. Subsequently, or after all this, some photos came that people say were doctored, extremely strange, right? And they also went on to mention specifically Camilla, who had to be investigated something, so we see a little marked by conspiracy. It's true that there we can get into whether Buckingham Palace or Camilla Parker, there was a war to be popular. Who doesn't? In that, yes, but really delving into these issues, not the lawyer of Catherine Middleton, was evident that it sounded very strange, and in fact many of the publications were deleted. The thing is that when they released a statement for physics from what would be the Secretary of Kensington Palace who spoke with that media, they asked different questions about why this was allowed, why that was allowed, and many things were questioned there. I also remember seeing that photo of Catherine that had a black eye as if someone had hit her. Kate Middleton's long disappearance opened Pandora's box of many rumors, speculations, and theories about the Prince and Princess of Wales. One of those rumors was about William's affair with Rose Armory. Indeed, speaking of lawyers, the legal team of the British model Hanbury sent a notice to Colbert for making that joke on his show about the connection with Prince William. This was reported by the media outlet In Touch, saying that there were those rumors and confirming that those accusations made by Hanbury were completely false. The legal team told In Touch that they had written to CBS and several other media organizations to confirm that the accusation was false, an event that occurred at a time when networks were erupting amid increased curiosity about Kate's whereabouts. At that time, as the show's presenter, Stephen Colbert, had expressed, the United Kingdom had been in turmoil over Kate's apparent disappearance. Well, now internet detectives speculate that Kate's absence could be related to her husband and the future King of England, William, having an affair. Tabloids reported a dispute between Kate, William, and Rose back in 2019. In fact, there are sources that claim Rose's name had already been mentioned around 2016, although articles on this topic were constantly deleted. Later, In Touch claimed that William and Rose might have had an affair. Then, the royal reporter for the Daily Mail, Richard Kay, had stated that both parties were considering legal action as of the 4th. Then many of the rumors died down, and everyone finally decided not to say anything. Most of the evidence that people pointed to were speculations, and more importantly, William and Kate had made several appearances since Kate's disappearance. Not only were they not seen driving, it was said they were seen driving together in a car. but theories said it was photoshopped, also posting that video in the farm store, but many people also said they were doubles. And we'll talk about this now, coming up. And meanwhile, William referred to Kate in that public appearance on March 14, calling her my wife, which many people said was strange if they were in the middle of a divorce. And as I was saying, we were talking about lawyers because there was that leak that Rose Hanbury's lawyers had sued some media outlets, supposedly including Stephen Colbert, and also against the Independent, which was the first to break the news. Whose is Rose Amore? We were talking about this information about Lady Di and the illness that Princess Diana of Wales suffered, that she suffered from bulimia, an eating disorder that, for example, series The Crown also decided to address in a season. I think it was in the 4th. At the request of Emma Golding, an actress who played the princess, she revealed this herself in an interview for Radio Times. Indeed, it was also the Princess of Wales herself who confessed to her biographer Andrew Morton, who now nothing. We will also talk about him because he also spoke about Kate Middleton on this. Morton said she would have suffered from bulimia. Lady Di, according to the transcripts of the interviews Morton conducted to prepare the famous book Diana, Her True Story, the problem began as a result of a tense relationship with Prince Charles, whom we see meeting in one of the new episodes of this series. The Crown and Diana, who was only 19 years old when, in February of '81, shortly before announcing their engagement, the heir to the British throne passed a hand around her waist and said, "Are you a bit chubby here, huh?" Her future husband's words caused her tension, which later increased when faced with the affair he was having with Camilla. She said, "I was desperate, desperate." That's how Diana lamented in recordings published by Muerto in 2017 on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of her death. She said, "I remember the first time I induced the illness. I was excited because I thought it would relieve the tension." The princess felt herself shrinking to nothing in the months leading up to her wedding held at St. Paul's Cathedral in June 1981, saying, "The first time I was measured for the wedding dress, I had a 73-centimeter waist. On the day I got married, I measured 60 centimeters. This was revealed by Lady Di, the mother of Princes William and Harry. Diana's battle against bulimia lasted for several years, but she finally managed to overcome it. This was even asserted just a year ago in the magazine Hello Darren Macready, a chef for the princess during her last 4 years of life. And Diana, they say, took great care of her diet. It was a mistake to think she didn't like to eat. Diana had confronted and overcome bulimia completely. Once she told this man Darren, "Take care of the fats and I will take care of the carbohydrates at the gym." This is what Lady Di's chef remembered in one of their early encounters. But evidently, this serious illness that Diana of Wales suffered at that time from what she had gone through. And we also see that in the series they blame Charles, not Charles, currently before Prince of Wales. And now we have to go obviously to the present and what is happening with Kate Middleton. And there is some information, as we have just seen, about this on-camera reaction to what would be that television party program and that journalist who says his sources would be telling him that what could really be happening to Kate Middleton would be that bulimia illness that Lady Di would have had so many years ago. And Lady Di's biographer Andrew Morton also gave his theory about Kate Middleton's health status. And the biographer pointed to 3 possible reasons why the Princess of Wales may have undergone abdominal surgery. And with no official response from the palace, the British journalist also wrote a lengthy article in the magazine Lecturers, where he took on the task of analyzing different theories about Kate's health, which turned out to be quite interesting but quite controversial. According to Andrew Morton, in this medium, there are those who believe that Middleton underwent a hysterectomy, something commented on, especially initially because of the weeks of recovery time required and that prolonged rest, although Andrew. This author also pointed out that she may have been operated on to repair damage to her stomach that she may have suffered during her pregnancies, as Kate Middleton suffered from a rare condition known as hyperemesis gravidarum in all three. This she herself recounted, even in some podcast. And finally, we come to Andrew Morton's last theory, Lady Di's biographer. However, this theory was much more surprising and macabre than the ones mentioned earlier. This man put on the table that it would have to do with nervous bulimia, an illness that, as we just mentioned, Princess Diana already suffered from and that many British media outlets echoed in the past. And if so, this issue would be quite sensitive for Prince William for Kate, since even years ago, when a journalist criticized Kate's thinness and compared it to Lady Di's, the heir to the throne was quite upset by it. A criticism that for some might not be justified, since we must consider that the princess has always had a fairly healthy lifestyle. She is known for being a person who is involved in many sports, etc. However, this biographer and journalist concludes by saying that the longer the jewel in the crown takes to return to her duties, as he says to Kate, the more the speculations will be believed. And that is an inevitable price to pay when you are in the public eye. This is what Andrew Morton said, and he even went as far as to theorize that it could be nervous bulimia, which would be happening to Kate Middleton, something that already happened to her husband's mother, the same Princess of Wales. This is serious information, since if we compare it with what would be or with what happened to Lady Di, and those reports that Charles had told her that you are a little more chubby here, and those types of reports that exist in some of the media, or in that famous book, Diana, of Story Claro, here we start to theorize. Rose Hanbury, on one hand, those alleged infidelity issues, the same as happened to Lady Di. And again we return to that nervous bulimia that is being commented on, a quite sensitive issue, and we return again to what happened to Lady Di. It really seems like madness to me. All this information that is happening and that is even reaching television in the form of programs and theories about what really could have happened to the Princess of Wales. I also have to talk about a theory that is shaking social media in the last few hours. And there are people on Twitter who are putting people with quite a few followers, putting this type of information, saying that Kate Middleton's lawyer would have said that he believes she is dead and that Camilla should be watched because she is involved. Well, good nights to everyone, to my people from Spain, and also to the people of Latin America, who are watching us every night talking about the royal and, of course, about the case of Catherine Middleton, the Princess of Wales. Today we talk a little about lawyers, basically because it was something you were asking me about. I think it's because with that hacking that video we had released as it disappeared suddenly, it was getting many visits every day, that video, and suddenly with the hacking it disappeared. And currently, I think it hardly has any visits. That video when it was making 3,000 a day or something like that. And that's why I wanted to clarify to you where it came from and what that video was that had disappeared a bit and that you had asked me about as a lawyer. Here one of them reacted to some accusations of what had been the violation of Catherine's file, and if Rose Hanbury wanted to sue for defamation. Let's see what they were talking about here in US Weekly, because I've never seen this absolutely. It seems that it was a quite reputable lawyer who was talking about these issues around here. Let's see about the topic of the Metropolitan Police investigation and what was happening at that time. Destination like this kind of entail. What are they looking for? And how to this kind of come to like you think? Well, Christina, there's a few components here and obviously here in the United States. We have HIPAA that prevents someone who's not authorized from accessing your medical records, and that's by whenever you go to a doctor. Even to communicate with another medical provider, you'll have to sign an authorization or a HIPAA release now. Obviously, UK doesn't have HIPAA, but they have their own Data Protection Act that protects this type of medical information. And speaking of data, it's pretty clear right now whenever you access a file or a site who's doing so. So this is something that is easy to catch, and it's really a question of did the perpetrator. Here, this gentleman is talking about how easy it is to detect if they really had accessed these medical records, and if it was an anomaly or was able to actually see it, in which case it would be a very serious violation, and what would that be? So far, note that this question that is being asked here, which is a totally normal question, this lawyer does not have an answer as of today. No, nothing has come out absolutely, not about this that was being asked right at this point, if he could see it or if he really accessed it but didn't see it right. And he says, well, that would really be something very serious, but we don't know. There's really three potential layers. The first would be administrative. Obviously, a doctor or a nurse or medical professional, they would be licensed, and there'd be a body that regulates, so there could be some administrative penalty. They could be suspended or even lose their license entirely, and of course to the extent that there's been a criminal violation, and obviously we've talked about the different phone hacking and other scandals involving the royals that could be a criminal investigation and prosecution, and of course, you know Kate can always file a civil lawsuit for invasion of privacy. That's also something that we've covered here on the show with respect to the royals, if she wants to go after them. Here, the lawyer is saying what will happen with this issue. I personally believe it will remain private, empty, or there won't be many more leaks about it. And it's because there have been many scandals around royalty, many things in which it has been investigated what happened here or there. So I think this investigation that was being conducted, and that was actually said to be investigating by the Metropolitan Police in London, Scotland Yard, they said they were already investigating that process. Therefore, I find it very striking that absolutely nothing else came out about that. Let's now move on to the subject. Let's see what this gentleman tells us. Public absence is due to an affair with Prince William after Stephen Cover brought the idea to the masses. She said to be very distraught about everything, and her lawyers told Business Insider that the rumors are completely false. So this is kind of just speculation. But this seems to be a defamatory statement that was out about her. Can see Sue Publications. Could she go after 7 Cover if she really wanted to kind of make this progress is even further, because these rumors have been going around since 2019. So could she go after anybody in this case if she really wanted to see potentially can Christina? But I don't think it's going to be that good of a case on this, as and like you said, these rumors have been going on for quite some time. Obviously, they resurfaced recently because of Kate's disappearance and doctors. Here, basically, what the lawyer says that he was only reporting rumors. He was not echoing those rumors that were on social media. It wasn't him who gave news, right? So here he would have quite a few problems with the type of lawsuit. In fact, the lawyer comments that for a long time all these types of rumors spread around social media, and also many UK media, and especially also international media, be it from Spain, Latin America, that comment all this gossip we could come to call the love triangle of Kate, William, and Hanbury. This time the lawyer says he would have quite a few problems to bring that lawsuit up, right? What other people are speculated, we're not saying that. It's absolutely true that Rose had an affair with William, or getting out a definitive statement because of a nuanced nature of what Calder said. I don't think it's going to be a good defamation case. Yeah, well, and this also comes after Getty Images issued a statement revealing that the photos shared by the official. Okay, these are already several news that had come out previously about the photos from Getty Images that had supposedly been manipulated. Frankenstein photos were talked about at the time. Now let's move on to another interview we want to see today, which last time I told you we're going to react to this, and in the end I don't know what happened, or they didn't upload what this interview is, but now we can actually do it. As I say, we move. Here, Concha Kalaja is going to speak, a royal expert who was on this radio program that we hadn't seen before. So let's listen to all the things. Yes, we had seen an ad for the program, but let's see it now complete for all of you. People, anyone who wants to give any information is crushed, and they don't know that in some way they are being directed by that establishment. I mean, it's true that you have to have maximum respect with which I have always tried to treat this information, this news, that I would also like to clarify that in terms of going into a coma, no. I said that they induced her into a coma. Exactly. Yes, 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 yes. They induced her into a coma. Exactly. I insist that there was a problem in the post-operative period. Now we are seeing that the operation itself was serious. We will all be seeing that the things of time. It will put everything in its place, and in reality the real cause never said that this was not true, but that a journalist from a media outlet called the Royal House, and the Royal House says that it told him that it was nonsense. Well, this that I had said. Well, we really don't know who or how, but there was no man. To the king they operate on a prostate cancer, and then it is discovered what is discovered later, and for what they give the statement is because it is seen that some other organ has been affected. Of course, in the case of the king, with Kate Middleton it has happened a little, let's say similar. They undergo interventions themselves that are with a very clear diagnosis, and we all know, those of us who have had family members, those who have been a little in contact with that disease, we know that they do biopsies, that they do analyses. I myself, who I am operated on for breast cancer, and know at first it was nothing, and when they analyzed it we knew it was cancer, but then they analyze it and they tell you it hasn't spread. Of course, what's the deal? Well, look, it's just that they talk as if we were informing and we were the enemy. No, we are journalists. That is really, clearly, Concha here speaks that we only inform. We are not the bad guys here, not in the movie. We just wanted to give the most details to the people who were asking and who were maximum expectation at that time. All about Catherine and her health, right. So Concha says, well, we are not the bad guys. We are not anyone's enemies. We just wanted to give bad information. I mean, the pain is caused by the information, not us. Of course, yes, of course, yes, 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 yes. And well, her condition right now, I would tell you that both one and the other have. That is, time must pass, but neither of them is well, of course. They have to go through treatment and everything. What did you think of Kate's statement sitting very discreetly? Do you think it's real, or maybe the AI, that they have also taken advantage of? Well, the possibility of being able to speak and make a statement that looked a bit forced or not, or you see it well. Huh. Look, I'm not an expert in that. So in analyzing, it's true that she is very still, has one arm supported, one shoulder supported, and don't move all the time. Well, I don't know, because what I stick with there is with the information that has already been given, since it had to have been given a long time ago, because it is known. So they still haven't told us what happened in that post-operative period. I am waiting for them to have to say it at some point, because maybe, well, it is also important that they will never say it, the truth. Did something happen that Concha Kalaja echoed at the time and was the only journalist who dared to assert? I think it will never be told absolutely anything about that. The truth at some point, people know it. But well, the case is that I stick with the information that was given. I have to tell you that there are already agencies, important agencies. Getty 3 has put a note on the video. It has not been said, it has not been commented, but there is a note in this video in which it says, well, that they put it, that the image could have been manipulated. If, for example, there is another company later, one that I don't remember what it's called but works for the Pentagon, seeing that it also put a note. Well, if they say it, I'm not an expert in that. Yes, in the previous video of her in the fan shop, in the pharma shop, in Windsor, walking with the bags, I already said I don't believe it at all. This girl, obviously, this is what I said, not that it had been a double, that it had been a double that had appeared in that video of the farm. Then the video of the cancer. They say that there are up to 3 photographic agencies that say they see strange things that they put, like the logo of This Is Checked. But we don't have a certificate that it could be real or that there were modifications or additions. And do you think then that this girl who was carrying the bags as if nothing had happened was a double, or when I asked my contact person, they told me that it was a decoy? That was the word that I said when I heard bait. I said, well, it's the double, of course it's the double, because she was picking up the bags. But he was also double. He was also the person who went. It was him, not the husband, who went with her. Well, I would venture to say that neither either. I mean, they were doubles both to do. Mother of God, what a scandal. I mean, that girl reacting to the camera, to the man who was recording her from his car, and then a few days later, we have that announcement of Kate Middleton's cancer, apparently quite upset with those dark circles that people said and such, who was made up but like very sad and sleepy, etc. And then we have the other video like super happy with her carrying the bags, etc. It's like, but what happened here? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. What has happened is that to this day we are still talking about this because it's such a nonsense that it's outrageous. I mean, what has happened around the case of Kate, we have to keep talking about this because no, we still don't find the sense after that announcement. Really, but Concha, you know what happens, that the British royal house. Now what is getting a little out of hand in terms of forms, because you see from that photo that was a photo montage, maybe the daughter of Kate's statement in the double couple. I mean what's going on, because before they have always been very, very serious, very disciplined, a very correct way, and now they are talking about, because this is talking about really. Yes, man, let's see. I think they have 2 directors of the institution, that is 2 high-ranking members out of coverage. We have Carlos III, who is the king, the head of state, who will not be present. Well, yesterday he made an effort, but I mean that he will not be institutionally present for the moment, that he is not and will be little. So right now the people who are well, although they are in the line of succession, regency, whatever you want, but, well, we have Camilla, who 25 years ago was the most hated woman in the universe, and now it is clear, and now it is the visible head of the British monarchy, so that, We have Prince Andrew entering, who even his mother took away his titles, that this was badly repudiated because this one has been well friend of Trist, well accused of course of not. In fact, we still have to see Prince Andrew's program by Concha Kalaja, what she would have investigated, the things she knows about him and others. I think he attacked him a lot. In fact, it seems to me that someone sent me like a clip where he called him stupid or something like that, but, well, we'll see that another day because, well, to have it also in another program, we have to react to it. To Prince Andrew's program of, as the word escapes me, but, well, of sexual corruption. Yes, clear, it is very important. What would happen if the king, well, it happened to him what might happen to any person. Who would be the person who would be in his place? Well, if the king died, or even abdicated and William did not accept the crown. His children would still equally continue in the line of succession, but would need a regent. The next one would be Harry, of course. That is, the one who would act as regent would be Harry. Yes, I understand, yes, I understand. Well, this can happen or not happen, but William's thing, do you think he wouldn't accept being in his father's place, leaving everything behind and forgetting? I have my doubts at this moment. I have my doubts at this moment. I have doubts about what William would do. Man, now he has a very delicate situation between the father and the woman who unfortunately will pass any situation we don't want. He would be in a tremendous depression, right? Maybe, of course, here many people question whether William would be capable of being king, as we have questioned on occasion, but also in terms of whether William, if such a tragedy were to occur as the death of his father, if he could handle all the pressure, the death of his father, the sadness, etc., Now, when he's convalescing, it would indeed be the ideal time. Or perhaps it's a very complicated time to be king of one of the world's monarchies, or the most important one. Without a doubt, yes, but above all, notice that the monarchs, the heirs, the high-ranking ones, they have to set aside their emotions. I mean, it's a weakness. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but feelings are an unequivocal sign of weakness for them. Of course, the Queen was raised this way, and has raised her son, Charles, the same way. In fact, what Charles did yesterday was quite remarkable. He really did. You have to see it to believe it. Yes, of course, and William isn't doing that. He may be depressed, he may not be well, he may be. But in front of his people, in front of his citizens, in front of the world, he has to present himself. I mean, the monarchy is there to provide stability in these times. Queen Elizabeth Roman II was mourned because people loved her, but they also wanted her well-being. The well-being of the British people depended on the stability of the monarchy, and she provided that stability. So what Carlos is trying to do is to ensure that the citizens feel stable, but William isn't doing that. He's resistant to all of this. But, well, Concha, think about it, there's a difference between William and Charles in how they approach the British royal family. We could also think that William is Lady Di's son. Maybe he also has that in mind, right? But many people used to say of Lady Di's two sons that the one we want to be king is Harry. Yes, but William being ahead in the line of succession and Harry being outside his royal duties, that's the only thing. The only possibility would be if suddenly William wanted, well, to leave the monarchy or consider his family, prioritize his family over the crown, which we don't believe will happen based on the latest information. Do you think he's resistant because of everything that happened to his mother, Lady Di, because of all the media harassment, because they've been a bit scarred by all this? Let's see there, let's see. I think both of them, certainly, haven't overcome the ordeal of their mother's death. They haven't. As I'm telling you very directly, they haven't overcome the fact that they weren't allowed to reopen their mother's case because he also isn't clear about it, and he says so in his book that he and his brother didn't believe after seeing the Scotland Yard documents, they didn't believe it was just an accident and that the authorities didn't let them reopen it. They were told, no, this can't be done, and Harry writes about this in his book. So there are two young men who, of course, haven't overcome it because cases are only overcome when they are closed. Sure, and when the truth is known. Brutal, brutal, that William and Harry don't believe that it was just an accident with their mother, Diana, Princess of Wales. And they wanted to reopen that investigation. Harry, if he hints at it in his book, he hints at it. Like when we went to Scotland Yard and tried to see certain things, and my brother and I didn't believe that. We didn't want to know much more about it. Of course, they come, of course. They have their suspicions. And when they say the authorities, because we say the authorities without knowing what we're saying, they are really pointing to the intelligence services, to the government. They are pointing to everything that is the high command, right? Yes, yes, yes. Well, Concha, thank you very much for all this information, which of course in the end, William and Harry know perfectly well what's going on from within. In fact, it seems to me that William currently, I think he couldn't leave the British monarchy. If one could, it might be Harry. But William, currently, I think it's obvious that Harry knows a lot of very delicate and important things that I think will never be known, or that's what we think. This won't be known, surely it will never come out, but we'll see over the years if Harry wants to tell more, or for example, Paul Burrell said he had a lot of news and many things about Diana, Princess of Wales, who knows what's behind it and some of the things that are silenced. We'll see all these kinds of questions. We, as always, leave it here today with this reaction, this time to Concha Kalaja. But by audio, not by this multi-channel radio. I think it's called, and the program is great. So you can look it up if you want. As always, thank you very much for stopping by here for this video. Don't forget to like, Subscribe to the channel with the bell so you don't miss any of the videos we bring every night, which, by the way, I think the bell thing isn't going very well, so be very attentive to channel 10 and 40 in Spain, a few hours earlier in Latin America. Thank you very much, everyone. Big kiss, and see you tomorrow with the next video.